When you reach the end, will you wait for me? Holding out a torch that's lighting up the way. I can't run and I can't crawl, but as soon as I scale your castle walls, I'll try to find you. 'Cause I know I see it all tonight. Oh, I see it all tonight. I watch you come to life. I feel the world around us. I see it all
teams representing some of the biggest cities around the world. 72 of the world's most talented poker players with over $350 million in combined lifetime earnings will put everything on the line over 8 months to compete for the title of the first ever GPL World Champions. Which team has what it takes? The Global Poker League starts now.
Hello and welcome back. This Tuesday evening we are live. You are watching the Global Poker League. I'm Laura Cornelius, joined in the studio by Eric Danny, who is the GPL insider. You are the stats man. And after that first Six Max Eurasian Conference match, tell us what is going on with the Eurasian Conference.
I mean, it's craziness right now. The top 4 teams are just a few points, between each other. We talked earlier about London and Paris meeting tomorrow in heads-up play. That could determine who is in first place when the week is over. However, Hong Kong is one team that has still not said their final word, and Moscow right back in the playoff mix with the 10-point performance by Andrei Peticic.
The Bears are hungry.
Yeah, the Bears are in hibernation right now, and unfortunately, it's Daniel Cates who's in hibernation because Dominic Nietzsche did really well for the team last week. So, poor Jungle Man, he's going to have to make up some ground tomorrow. 9 points will almost are critical tomorrow for that team. So, it's been a tough Six Max experience for the Jungle.
I have a feeling as well, because that very first week when he played the Six Max, he didn't score any points. I really feel like he wanted to come back and he wanted to sort of redeem himself, and he's just failed to do that. I mean, he hasn't, because he's entertained everyone and entertained them really well, but points-wise, he's failed to do that.
Right, I mean, entertaining is fine, but if you're Philip Grusom looking at that ranking at the bottom of the standings, entertainment needs to be cut and points need to be up. He plays Nanonoko tomorrow, and it's a little dangerous because Nanonoko is calling out these big names. Nanonoko wanted to play in this match. He's got all the Twitch support, so those matches are dangerous. So don't expect an easy sweep for Jungle Man tomorrow because Nanonoko wants those points. He's disappointed. His perfect record was demolished by the great Sam Trickett last week. He's already been booked according to rumors online, that he'll be playing Elke next week. He has Sam Trickett coming in a few weeks. Nanonoko is going after the big guns.
He was visibly worried and scared playing
Right.
Sam Trickett last week, though. Do you think we'll see him as concerned facing Jungleman or Elke?
I think he will absolutely be. Elke being a legend, Jungleman being the man who he is. Yeah, absolutely. I think that first match tomorrow is going to be very exciting to see.
Anyway, that's heads up that we're talking about. Obviously, every America's heads up game is Thursday. Every Eurasian heads up match is Wednesday. Tuesdays, tonight, that's all about Six Max. So we start every single Tuesday with 2 Six Max matches from the Eurasian Conference. We then follow with 2 matches from the Americas Conference. So we're going to head over to the desk now, where Griffin and Sam will proceed to do an analysis of the match.
Thanks so much, Laura. I'm Griffin Benger, joined as always by Sam Grafton. This is the GPL. This is week 3. We just got done with the Eurasia Conference. Strong showings from the likes of Liv Burry. But right now we're focusing on the Americas. 6 really, really talented players here. A lot of teams that need to make up some ground, including Felipe Mojave of the São Paulo Mets. So this is the lineup we have here. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, of course. A lot of strong players, as always, on the GPL. One name that really stands out for me, Mike McDonald, put in a great showing last week, 1 victory and a 4th place, but it was a 4th place where he had a lot of chips, ran into a few hands, but he looks to me like someone that's either very familiar with this kind of Six Max tournament or someone that's done a lot of work. He is going to be a threat, and the Montreal Nationals already top of the division.
Yeah, and this is a guy who obviously 2nd overall draft pick by the Montreal Nationals, someone who's an extremely strong player. We look at Las Vegas Moneymakers bringing in Jonathan Duhamel once again to play, and he's someone who, you look at the Moneymakers and you look at the Mets, neither of them have any wins, while everyone else in the division have at least 2 wins, so they need to make up some serious ground. But the rest of the lineup, very interesting characters. Tyler Kenney, the little brother of course, the general manager of the New York Rounders in Bryn Kenney, and just Eugene Katchalov, we're seeing him for a second time. Just a really talented lineup. So let's have a look at each of the players here. Tyler Kenney is who we're going to start with. What do you know about Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler is a very strong poker player. Obviously, someone that didn't go the full-time playing route of his older brother, Bryn. But, with the New York Rounders, Bryn Kenney is someone that trusts his own judgment, someone who wants a team and team unity where no one's going to be holding back on sharing strategy and the like. And we know in other sports, morale and togetherness is a huge factor in franchise success. Maybe we're going to see that it's a big factor in the GPL as well.
Yeah, no surprise that the New York Rounders keep it in the family, with the wild card selection. Let's move on to Eugene Katchalov. Obviously, anyone following the European Poker Tour circuit, the World Series over the years, knows about this guy. He hails from Ukraine, a GPI rank of 295, almost $9 million in earnings, 5 wins to his credit, and been playing for a long time. As you can see, first result over 12 years ago. So this is a guy that just has a ton of experience for the LA Sunset.
Yeah, similar to Mercier, someone that's been at the top of the game for 7, 8, 9 years. I mean, he won a WPT in 2007 for $2.5 million. And, ever since then, he's been a factor in the high rollers, in the 10Ks, in the 5Ks. Such a strong poker background, Eugene Katchalov, and a massive asset to the LA Sunset. They're going to be very excited to put him into action today.
Okay, so now we see Anton Wigg. We saw him in the heads-up match, in the What Up Now Swedes match last week. A GPI rank of 221, again, from Sweden, over $2 million in earnings. And this is a guy you and I have a lot of experience with, playing online against him, someone who does really well in the EPT circuit, especially, the IPTs and the side events. What do you think about Anton?
Yeah, of course. He saw last week, he has a very considered approach to the game. I mean, with this guy, there can be no speculation about the high-level thought process he brings to the game, because we saw it on the webcam in that match, defeating his good friend Martin Jakobsen 2-1. But Martin Jakobsen, one of the best players in the world. So that just showed, yet again, what a great player Anton Wigg is.
Yeah, now let's talk about Duhamel. Again, we've seen him once before with that really interesting match that he played against Olivier Bousquet late last week. A GPI rank of 45, someone that's always been floating around the top 10, top 20, top 30 in the world. Obviously, everyone knows World Series of Poker main event champion, 1-drop champion. So many incredible results, an amazing story, and he's been around for a decade. So he's a huge threat, probably the strongest player on the Moneymakers, along with Jake Cody. So he's a guy that they're putting him into the fire early as they start to slip down the rankings a bit, and hopefully he'll be able to put up some big numbers for them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's coming from, again, that kind of live pro background. We saw him take some unorthodox lines against Bousquet. We'll see how he fares today.
Now, Timex, Mike McDonald, unbelievable
Crusher.
story, this kid. He won his first EPT at the age of 18 years old in Dortmund, I believe it was. Just unbelievable pedigree. GPI rank of 22, again, a guy that's always creeping around the top 10. Amazing results as early as a second-place finish at the PCA a few years ago. Just an unbelievable talent.
Yeah, I agree. And I think particularly Mike's high roller background, where he's used to those big pay jumps, where even just moving up one place, one buy-in in a $100,000 buy-in is really important. And that's the same in these kind of point structures. I think he's going to be a really, really strong player in these 6 max matches.
Now, Felipe Mojave is the other dark horse, I would say, of this group, along with Tyler Kennedy. Tyler Kenney, pardon me. Someone that a lot of people you won't be familiar with. 275 ranked, just over $1 million in cashes, but someone who comes from an online background that obviously Andre Akari has a lot of faith in and a great representative for Brazil.
Yeah, and the exciting thing for Felipe is he's a Sao Paulo resident. And so there's going to, obviously we know the Brazilian poker players have a lot of pride in their country and in the Brazilian poker community. But this is a guy who lives in Sao Paulo, plays in Sao Paulo. So he's going to attract a huge fan base. Obviously, I don't know so much about his poker background, but we saw João Simão put in a fantastic performance. And, if his kind of level that he brought is anything to go by, then we can expect good things from Felipe.
Exactly. Sorry about that. Let's have a look at the players right now, guys. It looks like we are about to start the match, and it's should be a good one.
So here we have the lineup. The guys ready to get the electronic computer pixelated cards in the air. And Anton Wigg gonna get things off to a start with Ace King. And be interesting to see. Obviously, we have 3 players completely new to the GPL making their debuts. Kind of exciting for them. See if they can pull off a Raiden Khan.
And Felipe, right away, an opportunity to make an impression and just say, you know what, I'm going to come after these guys a bit. And an interesting spot for Anton Wigg, obviously, with Ace King this deep.
Yeah, I actually like choosing this hand to 3-bet. Obviously, not going to work out super well against such... Wow, I speak too soon. And Anton flopping, top pair, top kicker. Obviously, you guys can see 6-5, making trips, incredibly deceptive hands.
Yeah, a hand that Anton Wigg is really never going to be able to fold by the river against a bet based on a run out. But also, as we can see, Mike McDonald, we talk about blockers a lot of the time. He folded an ace, so less likely that Anton's going to be able to catch up. So very tough spot for him.
And Felipe picking a small sizing, which is perfectly acceptable on such a dry board. Also, probably something to do with his hand. He obviously wants action so much with, flopping such a strong holding. And see what kind of sizing he picks on the turn. Flush draw has come, so he'll be able to go slightly bigger in sizing, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Anton has an ace, a huge percentage of the time here, so it'd be nice to see Felipe go pretty big. That's probably, par for the course right there, and it's going to give him some room to make a really large bet on the river with, as much as, 12,000 in the pot.
Yeah, for sure. Horrible spot for Anton Wigg. It would have been good if a flush had come off or like a queen, perhaps. Like, really tough spot for Anton Wigg when he faces a bet, as he almost inevitably will on this river. Felipe now just going to be sat there thinking about how much value he can extract from Anton Wigg's range. And Anton does have those obviously he has ace king, ace queen in his range. And I wonder what Anton's going to do here.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that he's hoping for a chop here. And yeah.
Brutal start for Anton Wigg. Absolutely, like losing 2/3 of his stack immediately. And Felipe Ramos coming out and making an impression on the GPL straight away.
Yep.
Vamu.
And one. We do have Jonathan Duhamel and Mike McDonald on the cams now. Both residents of Canada, of course. McDonald residing from Waterloo, coming from that huge, conglomerate of Waterloo superstars out of that school, and Jonathan Duhamel, of course, hailing from Montreal.
Yeah, both strong poker communities. Juan and Mike Watson, both come from Waterloo, and obviously we saw Pascal and Sam Chartier, all sorts of good players coming out of Quebec.
Yeah, and interesting to see too about how everyone thought that these were going to be the two first picks of the Montreal Nationals. Of course, the very surprise draft pick selecting Duhamel by Chris Moneymaker, and then of course Marc-Andre Ladouceur going in a different direction in that second round. Mike McDonald getting a couple of aces here in the third hand.
Yeah, we will try and get these guys on bigger as well.
Sure, good enough
So
for
Mike will be able
open.
to talk us through.
I think that
feel
in
like
these
whenever Mike opens,
in
I
the
always
six
think
max
it's
matches,
He's
it doesn't
he's
matter.
that kind of guy that wins all the time, but
I think in the
like
heads
whenever
up,
you
there's a
do
lot of
anything,
volume
he's just
playing
got
us
the
where
goods.
It's likely you can
Slow,
force someone into the hot
folded.
seat, but whereas in six max, every second you save
what
only kind of
happens
costs your opponents a fifth of a
Don't wanna
second,
rush it too
whereas
much.
heads up, every second you save kind of costs your opponent a whole second. So I think there's I'll be playing at a reasonable pace, but nothing too crazy.
Crazy flop here, though. Bottom two pair for Anton Wigg with the 3 deuce against the aces. Not something you expect to see. And Anton, based on the run out and the action, might be able to find a double up by the river, but it's going to be hard given how deep they are.
Mike loving life on this kind of texture. Because although Anton does oh wow. Fast playing.
I mean, I doubt I'm going to end up folding this hand, but not overly excited. Like when I say folding this hand, I mean at any point.
Yeah, not a lot of value combos that Anton Wigg has here, particularly on a rainbow board.
So he's not too loose on blind defense, so I don't think he has many two pairs.
I mean, Mike is right there in that 9 deuce
Open
off,
fairly
deuce
small.
3
Yeah.
off, he would fold. So, that with on a rainbow board, that's what I mean. It cuts down the number of
Yeah.
2-pair
5-4
combos.
off.
Even 9-3 and 9-2 suited, I think he would maybe like to fold. So 3-2 is one of the only combos. Wouldn't you agree? It's negligible either way, yeah.
And this does look strong from Anton, by the way. I mean, the thing is he could be slow playing kings, yeah, and take this line.
Right.
And
This really sucks. I don't know. I've got a call with some hands that aren't sets. Maybe it makes more sense, if there's some chance of him bluffing stuff like ace 4, ace 5. Maybe it makes more sense for my, calling down hands to be the other overpairs than this one. Not entirely sure. I'm going to keep calling for now. And
such good poker sense from Mike, that he feels
how
like
many
he's beat.
cold combos does he have? Doesn't seem like there should be that many hands that have backdoored their way in. Like it's sort of one of those things. If a flush is a very substantial concern here, him having just other backdoor flush draws that have missed is a pretty big concern too.
A nice turn of events here for the San Francisco Rush representative. Only 15 points in the Americas Conference right now.
It's not really repping much by repping clubs. I don't know. I feel like he's probably just got it. This isn't very high level analysis or anything like that, but especially, after losing a pretty big pot early. I don't know.
Sick if Mike folds. Go on, fold, Mike.
Especially, even though I think he's somewhat tight on blind defense,
He's gonna
oftentimes
fold.
people loosen up when it's, on these broadcasts. There could be some, 9-3 suiteds, and, likely those hands will just continue value shoving. I'll have some flushes here. And yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't really see him ever having something like queens or something like that. So I think that, or king 10 of hearts or something. So I don't really think that my hand is a bluff catcher, and I think having the aces does suck for me. Like I might, I don't know, call jacks and fold aces, but I don't know. I'll fold this one.
Great fold from Mike McDonald. Above the rim poker there we're seeing. And I mean, just absolutely fantastic play. Mike McDonald,
See what happens
I'm
with the
speechless.
broadcast there.
Just proving what a great
It's
poker
just,
player
it's just
is.
one of those spots where it's so easy to always check raise hands that beat aces on that board, and everything that he can have some jack 10 of hearts check raises on the flop, but it's tough to do that as large of a percent of the time as he does with twos. I don't know. And there's also some chance that the bluffs shut down, but I don't think there's any chance that value bets shut down.
Real treat to hear Mike's thoughts. And you can see Felipe starting his... He must think it's pretty easy here at the GPL. Again, flopping super strongly. And Eugene Katchalov, and now he elects to lead.
I think I'd prefer to see a bigger sizing here from Felipe, given how many combos that Katchalov will continue with.
Yeah, for sure. And he should be doing it pretty polarized, so that's going to lean towards a big sizing. And runs out well for him against this actual hand that Eugene has. And
yeah, I think we were short enough that, especially with the 9 of clubs on board, that I probably would have just gone bet shove if hand played out different. So I definitely, I mean, granted that there are runouts where I won't be going bet shove.
Eugene pays it off on the river. Felipe continuing his great start. I've seen some
Felipe's off to a pretty good start.
hugely interesting hands early doors. And yeah, I mean, it goes to show that quite possibly Anton's making a significant mistake against a player of Mike's caliber to be check raising that hand if you're allowing him to fold aces by the river. If you're not going to stack off at that stack depth, then perhaps you should just
check
allow
call,
them
let him barrel out with his value hands that are worse, and then also his bluffs. Yeah,
for sure. Or at least when a flush draw turns, you can have some kind of combo draw.
That you can check raise too.
Then check jam. So, I mean, obviously, might be being a bit results oriented. You can't know Mike's going to make such an astounding fold. Really fantastic poker. And this will be our first action of Tyler Kenney in the GPL.
Again, just to clarify, guys, on the left we have Jonathan Duhamel, and on the right we have Mike McDonald. Obviously, you know, they're not always going to be in the places on the table that would best suit the camera, so we're just making sure you know who you're looking at. That's not Eugene Katchalov eating his cereal while he contemplates the bet, and that's not Tyler Kenney.
Tyler does call with bottom pair, and a great turn card for Eugene Katchalov's actual hand and his range, improving to top pair and the flush draw.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a bad card for Eugene in the sense that, like, there's so many turn cards that he would bet and just take it down when he hasn't improved to an actual pair, whereas now that he has improved a pair against Tyler's, you know, what Tyler has, he's just going to get a fold here every time unless he checks back, which I don't think he ever really does.
I mean, he might check back this combo. It's good. You're going to barrel like all the rest of your flush draws, so checking back this one isn't so bad. You know, if you've got ace-10 of clubs, you're going to fire, and if you've got queen-jack of clubs, you're going to fire. So,
in order, you still think there's a chance that Tyler might call?
No, Tyler's folding now.
Yeah.
I'm sure, but you know, I think that Eugene should check back. It's a candidate hand to check back. For sure. So, I mean, I'm just so pleased, like, to see that from Mike McDonald. It's so exciting to see poker played at this kind of level. Really, I find it pretty inspiring, I've got to say. And Tyler folding the 3-6 suited against Mike. So just to remind you guys, they're playing for points. 7 points for the win, 5 for second place. Third for 3 points for third place, 2, 1, and the first player out will exit with 0 points for their franchise.
Not a great hand here, but it's pretty small open against Anton, so I'm just going to defend. That's pretty bad flop. Just going to go in the muck. So easy bets. I haven't seen that much yet, but game's just getting started. The table looks pretty aggressive so far. A lot of pots have been played. A lot of action. That's pretty good. Just gonna wait for a better spot.
Jonathan pointing out that there have been some big old pots. If you're just joining us late, Felipe Ramos 3-bet 6-5 suited. Anton defended ace-king. Came ace-5-5, and he got 3 full streets of value. And then Anton Wigg all but doubled up, flopping 2 pair against Mike McDonald's aces. Mike McDonald making an amazing fold on the river.
Probably 3-bet that, but just don't want to tangle too much against Felipe right now. Still at early. He's got the early chip lead too, so just gonna play it more cautious.
Bit of a tight fold there from John, but again, we've talked about small blind flatting ranges this early in the tournament, and it really kind of turns your hand face up a lot of the time. A lot of the time you have sort of suited broadways, so when you're playing against really tough opponents like Felipe, guys like Katchalov, it becomes very difficult to be disguised or deceptive in any way.
Eugene flops a strong top pair. Check calls the continuation bet from Felipe Ramos. Pretty loose open, but as Jonathan identified, some people do change their strategies when they have more chips and momentum. And it's quite possible that Eugene will go for a value bet on this river. King, Queen, one of the strongest hands he's going to arrive at the river with. And he does bet. And Felipe quickly releases. Great start for the Sao Paulo Metropolitans, who, as it happens, are actually bottom of the league at the moment. They'll be eager to get some points on the board.
Not good enough. With the very few ones I'm not opening on the button here.
Felipe, you'll remember, got that message of support from Neymar sent to his Twitter account, which is kind of a pretty sick brag. And Anton Wigg checking and flopping the nutter butter. Thankfully for Eugene, he doesn't have anything, any part of the board, but he might take a stab. He has, the sets, the stronger range on this board. Arguable that such a weak holding he should check, but he can't know Anton Wigg has him drawing 100% stone dead. And Anton must be feeling relieved after his early misfortune in that 3-bet pot against Felipe. And he's praying for a call, but Eugene not going to oblige. This a very cuspy hand, King 6 off, depending on what you think of the blinds. But Eugene does open. Eugene, in my experience, is pretty solid poker player, despite all his success.
Yeah, definitely has a reputation for being someone that's more on the tight, super strong, tight, aggressive line, but someone who's had great success in just normal EPTs, as well as the first winner of the super high roller at the PCA many years ago. So huge pedigree for Eugene coming out of the Ukraine.
Yeah. And Tyler will certainly defend Jack 10 suited, a very, very playable hand. And yet again, another action flop with Eugene. You can see flopping the nut flush draw. I'm not sure if there's anyone in the broadcast who doesn't know that, watching the broadcast, who doesn't know five diamonds would make a flush. And Tyler Kenney flopping top pair.
And it would also make a WPT. 5-diamond classic. See what I did there?
For sure. I don't think we got Mike Sexton quaking in his boots with that kind of chat. Tony Dunst, your job is secure.
The raw deal with Tony Dunst.
And Tyler with a... That happened so quickly, I assume it was a check call. And I'd like to see... It'll be interesting to see whether that more solid strategy that is Eugene's reputation applies here. I'd love to see him start to attack Tyler on this board with such a strong blocker.
Yeah, and as you can see, Tyler with a giggity amount percentage to win.
Eugene does fire again. Tyler does have a gut shot to go with his top pair. And given how many hands he's going to be calling with from the big blind, hands like 7-6, 8, 8-6, and such like, you would think he's going to call a second bet, taking his time to consider his options. Representing the New York Rounders, managed by his older brother, Bryn. And Tyler improves to 2 pair. And it will be interesting to see what Eugene does on that card. In general, it's a card that's way more favorable for the big blind. Real tough spot for Eugene whether to decide to fire again. He's going to be very polarized if he bets again. Unlikely he would bet queens or ace-jack here. Really representing, and he does go for it. On this river, Tyler Kenney improving to to 2 pair, outdrawing the over pairs that Eugene might have, but still losing to the sets, 9x, and flop flushes. And I don't know whether this is going to be a big enough bet for Tyler to fold. Tough spot for Tyler, making his GPL debut. He's in the tank and can't be loving life. Especially, as we say, like, Eugene does have a reputation for showing up with the goods.
Exactly, yeah. It's just one of those interesting spots, too, where, you know, obviously Eugene's repping very, very thin here, a flopped flush, some sort of 9. So because he's repping so thin, it's almost like Tyler's thinking that it's less likely that he's bluffing because he should know that, you know, I have a lot of 9s, I have some flop flushes, so it's a little, it's a pretty difficult spot here for Tyler Kenney. But he does opt to make the call.
Yeah.
Very well played by the mini Bryn.
Yeah. Nice pot for Tyler Kenney. Big swing in his favor. Obviously, Eugene's maybe targeting hands like Queen Jack, Ace Jack, King Jack. They all quite possibly would have folded.
Called twice, yeah.
But improving to 2 pair. Tyler makes the call, and great start for the New York rounder. Loose open by loose-ish open from Anton Wigg, and Felipe flats King Jack on the button. And Tyler with a very playable ace-jack suited in the small blind. Looks like Tyler is going to be heavily involved in the action. I know Mike's praying that he calls so he can see a flop with 6-5 suited. But I think a squeeze is quite likely
Imminent.
Here. That's what he's thinking about. Here it comes. Pretty small sizing. Anton with a very weak offsuit ace.
Yeah, I think this open is a bit of a mistake here, not being results-oriented with the hands that people had, but Felipe obviously playing with a lot of confidence out the gate. He's already shown that he 3-bet him once with 6 high. Tyler making that good call, great squeeze opportunity for him.
You're opening the great Mike McDonald's blind. I mean,
yeah, and then we're not even considering Mike McDonald, so
Anton,
I think
no
a bit of a misstep
respecter
from
of,
Anton. Yeah,
reputation.
for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, also Eugene opened the offsuit ace as well, which I wouldn't have necessarily thought was part of his strategy.
It's been relatively uneventful so far.
Pretty bad hand once again.
Interest.
Probably should fold it, but we're gonna get great price on it, so just gonna go see a flop. Good flop. Check to Anton. I might lead sometimes here, either with that hand or some kind of draws, just trying to mix it up. But Anton raised from the hijack, so I don't like it that much. Stacks are too deep to raise and get it in, so I'm just gonna call. It's a pretty bad card. Not sure if Anton would bet his king here. If he doesn't have a flush draw, that's pretty dead now.
Anton improving to 9s and 8s on this river, and will show down the hands.
All right.
And win. Jonathan getting slightly unlucky on the river there. Going to run out of chop pretty often. In fact, very often. And Anton Wigg making all the running, actually picking up the strongest hand yet. And Eugene Katchalov will almost certainly take a flop here with
playing a ton of hands so far.
such a strong suited
So
connector.
far, it doesn't look like anything's been too out of line or whatnot, but I guess I'll see in 10 minutes.
Yeah, Mike McDonald's going to be really happy when he sees that that big fold he made against Anton Wigg was correct. And Anton Wigg regained a little bit of momentum, was obviously down to 8,000 chips, I think, early doors. Lost a huge hand against Felipe Ramos, if you weren't with us, and made a significant comeback. And these guys really creating a lot of action early on.
Easton off in the hijack, so I think I want to 3-bet him late more, which means I want to 3-bet him for value more as well. So I'll 3-bet this. A lot of people I'd just call here. This bet.
Mike, immediately noticing how much Felipe's opening, how wide he's been opening, and so he's saying he's 3-betting a bit wider for value. Jack's certainly going to be part of that strategy. It's going to be interesting to see how Felipe responds. Shows that while we talk about blockers, you know, just because you have an ace and a jack in your hand doesn't mean someone can't have aces and jacks. It is more likely, less likely rather. Felipe thinking better of it and shutting down. And that is one of the tough things about playing with this kind of level of opponent. People will make adjustments pretty quickly if your strategy gets out of line.
Nice hand. See what happens. Finally, good hand to play with. And once again,
Jonathan does like to open a fair bit. You know, obviously someone who has a very strong understanding of metagame, and clearly someone who can see all the cards because they all have nothing. John opening the 5-6 of hearts here, getting it through.
Is pretty important. You know, 5th is probably, you know, the second most important pay jump beyond getting second. So you kind of, you know, you don't really want to, you know, push too many, you know, close chip EV spots early on in these. And, you know, Felipe definitely can play more hands. Tyler, especially his position on Felipe when Felipe's out of the pot, can play more hands. But I'm kind of in a spot with less than starting stack, where I should probably just play a little on the cautious side.
Tyler opting to flat the super blocker hand, King Queen here. About 60 big blinds effective against Felipe.
Wonder if Mike thinks
I think for that exact reason, Tyler can have some more okay hands here than he would in normal, you know, flatting the small blind type situations. This board's definitely pretty decent for me where, you know, Tyler probably doesn't make a pair very often. I do. And, you know, Felipe, you know, it's not, I don't think he'll 100 or anything like that. So here I have, you know, overs and a so-so flush draw. I think this is a pretty good hand to just be betting twice on a lot of boards. Both when I miss and pair when I have flush. Probably not. It's probably better to just check call.
Mike McDonald breaking down his thought process
Yeah,
for
so
you.
it's pretty likely that, if I have a 5, it's pretty unlikely I'm going to beat. So I think I can bet a lot of hand value / protection there. And then when called, there are just so many ways he can have, you know, ace-x with a club, or, you know, lots of hands that aren't particularly great that definitely need to, or even his, you know, hands with more showdown value would be like ace-4, and getting those out of the pot's pretty important.
See Anton also thinking Eugene has a pretty solid range, immediately folding the 6s, and Tyler the king jack off.
defending against Eugene, it's 20 blinds under the gun open. Kind of a good flop. Gutter. Eugene has to be kind of strong here to open with 20 bigs under the gun. Most likely a stronger range, giving me a pretty decent price, and I feel like I can probably stack him if I. So let's see one more. Got some guys on my lead here. Because it's probably going to get with a jack. I was going to realize that. Kind of have to bet if I won one. I'm scared that you might call me with some ace size and stuff like that. I don't need to worry about bigger bets, so E folds is ace high, and trying to rep. Obviously the jack just then just said maybe some kinds of ace 5 or ace 4 that I would value here.
Pretty unlucky river here for John in a lot of ways.
Yeah, massively unlucky. Obviously, if Eugene doesn't make a pair.
Can't call with queen high.
Also, it doesn't have a big stack, so it's easier for me to try and make that bluff.
No way he folded. Oh, my days. That's a crazy fold as well. Eugene Katchalov really erring on the tighter side there. I mean, that's an amazing fold there. I mean, obviously these guys might have some history, but very unconventional because seems unlikely to me that Eugene checks back many jacks and I don't know. Seems. I mean, John himself said that he would value bet ace 5 or ace 4. That those were the hands that he was repping. So
Yeah,
if
so
he's
a bit of a misread from Eugene for sure.
yeah, I mean, really.
Tomorrow, guys, actually this is Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 7 p.m. Central European time. It's going to be Bauer against Jonathan Little of the Las Vegas Moneymakers. Here we have a big cooler situation between Felipe and Anton. The chips obviously going to be going in for the 26 big blinds. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Felipe opened a7, ace jack off. He's got a lot weaker hands than this, opening under the gun. And you would imagine Anton, ace king. He actually elects for a 3-bet here. And Felipe Ramos, with such a strong hand as queens.
Pretty nice spot to bluff, I think. Definitely been opening lots. It's good to open on 2 short stacks blinds, I think. If Anton wanted to 3-bet some hands, he didn't think he could defend properly. I think this would be kind of nice for it.
Mike McDonald, happy to do our job for us whenever we're happy to have him do it.
Good to
no,
know,
exactly, yeah.
Good to know that he did. And it's gone all in.
So
Anton will call.
Off the cutoff is the short stack. That's good to know. So he's definitely been playing some hands that aren't super strong.
And huge flip. Anton turning a lot of equity. He needs an ace, a king, or a club. The other guy's rooting for Felipe to win, I'm sure. River's a full house. We lose Anton Wigg. Felipe Ramos eventually taking all his chips.
And kind of plays itself.
And GG Anton.
With Eugene as the short stack, the case could be made for just going all in. I mean, it's still going to play itself. Try to keep.
Mike McDonald, very studious and very, I've
getting shoved on light by.
Played a lot of satellites against him online, and he's someone who really understands ICM better than almost anyone.
So all these guys will be relieved. Tyler, Felipe, and Eugene making their GPL debuts. They have secured 1 point for their franchise. They won't be doing the Jungle Man and getting a 0.
Yeah, so here I'm in a spot where I've got above starting stack, but I still just, don't have, don't have a lot of chips, and Eugene's pretty short. It's probably best to go a little on the good side.
I gotta say, Duhamel's
For open here.
beard is just looking fantastic.
Pretty good flop. It doesn't really hit my range much. Although it is a good flop. Just going to check here because I'm going to check most of my range. That is it.
Always fun.
Mike's range a lot more than mine. It's a good flop. I like it. I want to be balanced.
Some hands beyond.
Hoping that the connection problem is going to resolve and be better. There we go. Now we got a bet. Don't need to bet big.
Interesting that John says that he checks back there with a lot of his range. We saw, I think, the other day when he was playing heads up against Olivier, I believe, where he checked back aces on a really low board and stuff like that, trying to allow Olivier to catch up. So a lot more interesting kind of like checkbacks in John's range, whether it was with ace highs, pairs like sixes on 8-3-4 that could get, turned on. So he's someone who likes to play a lot of turns, I feel like. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. I mean, it seems to me that he has got a range advantage on the board. He's got all the overpairs. He's got all the, he's opening, he's actually sort of guy who's going to open threes and fours as well. So he's got all the sets. I think it's fine to go ahead and see bet. That hand needs protection.
Absolutely.
Check back your overpairs by all means if you want to have some, to balance your ace highs.
Yeah.
Sixes, you should just be betting. Because also you can get called by all the 3x and 4x.
Yeah, and it's interesting too you said that because you think about the kind of turn cards where it's like, yeah, so he did decide to check back. The turn was a 4, great. But when the turn is like a jack of clubs and maybe a Mike McDonald turns like he has king 2 of clubs. Suddenly he's betting, and then he can bet again even if John's willing to call with sixes on 8 jack whatever. So it just makes it a little more difficult to play, and I think it's a bit unconventional. But
yeah, I mean, we know that from the Busquet match. Jonathan Duhamel plays a very different style to a lot of players. So, it'll be interesting to see how that works out for him. Obviously, we've got a tiny sample size so far, just 3 matches against Busquet, and this is someone that's won millions of dollars. So we'll see how it works out.
Tens of millions of dollars, I think. Yeah. It's a pretty elite company, actually.
And Tyler Kenney, not flopping a pair, getting outflopped by Felipe, but with the ace of clubs in his hand, it's going to block some of Felipe's check calling range. This is a combo some people like to bet. Felipe Ramos, the chip leader, which will excite the Mets fans out there.
Nice. Felipe just coolers Tyler and can get four-handed without ever really doing anything.
Mike's such a little nit, isn't he? He loves it. He loves 1-point pay jumps. He's just rooting it in. So sick.
Well,
and these things they're really celebrating who wins the tournaments, but it really seems like with the payout structure, probably the better players are the ones who are getting 2nd and 5th a lot and 3rd and 6th not very often.
We're talking about the glory though, Mike, aren't we, you little nit? Honestly, Mike McDonald, loving it.
Jungle Man's not playing so well.
To be fair, such generosity from Mike, not only willing to give his strategy about certain hands. Wow. So let's just talk about Tyler's
2-barrel here.
Yeah. I think that the problem with this is he kind of blocks Felipe's draws, but not his actual. He blocks Queen 10 and Ace X of clubs,
and 10-8,
but not the actual strong hand.
From Tyler here. 2 flush draw board. So easily could make a bet to try to set up, getting stacks in. This kind of makes me, if I'm want to check raise ace jack for value or something like that, where you're, I'd just be discounting a lot of bigger hands.
Wow. Felipe
I'm not
Ramos.
sure what my sizing should be like here as far as opening. I don't know.
Showing a bit of a leak in his game, obviously.
It's nice to be able to raise fold to Eugene.
But
it's still
interesting.
It's also nice to be able
Certainly
to make
interesting.
fold the big blind.
Tyler does defend. Obviously, we can see he's dominated. But Obviously, Mike has other hands in his range, which Queen Jack does play well against.
So he'll just be betting this board with a lot of stuff. He just has a lot more hands than I do.
So this is what I was talking about in regard to the Duhamel hand. Mike has the stronger hands, although Tyler does have slightly more 9x. So you can just bet a hand like Ace-Queen for wide value and protection, and force Tyler off, you know, a hand with a backdoor flush draw and a, you know, live 3 outs. And this is going to be an all-in from Eugene Katchalov.
See, Tyler folded the King Jack to Eugene's Queen 10 suited, so maybe he won't be big enough short.
Mike McDonald lurking in the big blind.
This is a call. Yeah, let's go.
Very deliberate, Mike. Knows it's a call, wants to make sure.
That's a good hand to see.
No additional outs for Eugene so far.
This slow dealing is something else.
We need it.
Wait till you see the...
Eugene bricks off a big hand for Mike McDonald, and we lose Eugene Katchalov, only able to claim 1 point on his first
good.
appearance
Those
in
next
GPL.
one all-ins. I've definitely been running pretty good on this software so far.
This hand is going to be really tough for Mike. Obviously, Duhamel about 35 big blinds effective. Looks like Mike's probably opting for a limp
the
flat.
next post, meaningless one, where it's just a point. Then they start ramping up after that.
Ready to get it in.
Just want to call here. So I definitely wasn't expecting a 2.75x ISO. That kind of leads me to believe he's raising more linear. Which is, makes this flop not particularly good for me.
3 of a kind for
Does
John
get
here.
our range. A lot more than Mike's range, but it's a dangerous board, so we do have to bet it and protect it.
Protect the tens. Starring Jonathan Duhamel. Now in theaters.
Fairly big bet there. Yeah, I guess this is one of those things where it's I could sit around for a while and just try to guess at what he has, and then I'll still always end up folding. But with some time constraints, it's probably best to not think about things too much when you virtually know what you're gonna do. So here we're all pretty short. We're all pretty short. Like me, Tyler, and Jonathan are all about the same.
Just gonna call here. I was tempted to just we could do everything, but not raising for sure. He's got a much bigger stack than us. ICM wise would be a massacre. That's a good fluff for us.
Gut shot versus gut shot.
We're gonna bet it for sure. Trying it to win it right away. Dose call. I just have like a 7 or some kind of a gutter like me. Problem is we're out of position and he does have a bigger stack than us. So we gotta be kind of careful here. Don't want to be over aggressive.
Interesting sizing choice here by Felipe. Obviously comes from a more online background.
Not much we can do. I mean, not much we can do. Just gonna give up that one. Play the right way, at least try to.
Jack 9 bluffing Jack 8 out of the pot.
Strong hand, for sure gonna open.
Time-wise, we all have lots of time here. Seems unlikely this game gets into time trouble unless, blinds get up to 2K, 4K or something.
Don't know much about Tyler. Haven't played much against him, so not sure how much he defends.
400, 800, just 600, 1200 blind jump is just so big that it really forces the action. So, even if there's no eliminations until 400, 800 and people are getting short, it's likely that, some time will be distributed after people start busting at this level.
Not much we can do. It's a pretty big bet. It's over 20 bigs, like 23 bigs or something. It's a little bit too much. A little more than a little bit too much.
Yeah.
That's a good hand.
Interesting blind versus blind situation here between Tyler Kenney and Mike McDonald, both with some beautiful four-handed holdings.
Yeah, I'd like to see Tyler employing a limping strategy. Don't know whether it's come around to him blind versus blind, but you can even just sort of adjust. This is a hand you want to get to a flop, even if in general you're going to be opening.
Pretty slow decision here. It's interesting.
I don't
Raises
know.
up pretty big.
Don't know whether
So
raising.
the larger he raises, probably the smaller I can 3-bet relative to the size of his open.
I mean, against someone that defends against as much as Mike, I think like having a raising strategy is not
Just going a little
ideal.
under 2.5x.
And now Tyler Kenney in a horrible spot with a very strong holding.
It's tough for me to know too much about Tyler's game. Like, I don't really know how much poker he plays these days. I don't know how much, if he's played online at all the last couple of years, how much he talks to Bryn. I don't really know what sort of style of poker he'll be playing. I don't know if he's mostly limping in the small blind or if he's raised folding his whole range. I really don't know.
Tyler Kenney in the tank, and this is a very difficult spot. Does peel the 3-bet.
Obviously a pretty good flop for my hand. Almost always go 2 streets in these spots, but could be a 3-street situation maybe. Just go like 3K, 4,800 all in, but I think I'll probably just go 50. On a rainbow flop, maybe it's supposed to be 3 streets. Maybe it doesn't make too big of a difference. I guess you probably just had some sort of Broadway.
How right he is.
Mike McDonald, he knows what's up.
Now get out of here.
And Felipe coming in for a raise. Pick the right moment because these guys don't have much of anything. And a great start for the Sao Paulo Mets representative. Absolutely crushing Anton Wigg's life. 3-bet him very early doors in case you missed it. 5-6 suited and flopped ace 5-5 against Anton's ace king. Want to flip later against the same player. And he's in a commanding position. But Mike McDonald, who I really felt was a favorite coming into this match, also with 40,000 chips. They'll be the 2 favorites. And Jonathan Duhamel with king-queen suited in the small blind. You'd think that some percentage of the time anyway, he's going to be moving all in here over Tyler's open. Certainly what he's thinking about right now.
Wait, what happened in this
But he does.
Felipe versus Tyler hand?
As you can hear in the background there, Mike McDonald wondering what happened there where Felipe folded the turn.
I'm just seeing this now. What the hell?
I'd love to hear Mike's thoughts on this. And Duhamel playing low variance, which is really interesting actually. As to see he does take ICM into account heavily and allowing Tyler to flop very strongly. Tyler checks back the flop. I guess he's worried about Queen Jack is one thing in terms of like what Duhamel has here. Feeling like he's either got like King Queen, King Jack and got him in bad shape, or Queen Jack and he's in bad shape. So checks back, a little bit more cautious, bets the turn, and takes it down. And interesting, I actually think of Duhamel as playing like roguely well aggressive, but shows that he is kind of aware of the ICM play.
If I know anything about John and Tyler, this is going to be an all-in call, I think. Obviously, John does have almost 15 big blinds, but a hand that...
Yeah, so that Felipe fold with King Jack on Jack 9 3 2. That's so like interesting how, you know, two people can just read into bet sizing so differently. Where I wanted to check raise Ace Jack for value on the turn, he folded King Jack.
Yeah,
Here we have a pretty big pot, maybe the biggest tournament so far.
Duhamel needs a 10 or a queen. And he's out.
Tyler holds and will be three-handed. I'm the short stack, but I've still got, you know, 80% of average or something.
Duhamel, the fourth player to be eliminated here in this heat, securing 2 points for the Las Vegas Moneymakers. A much-needed 2 points. Obviously, he will be a bit disappointed, but you know, nothing he could have really done over the course of this heat.
And Tyler Kenney and Felipe Ramos, two debutants in the Global Poker League, and they're going to be super happy to have made the final three. Really exciting for these two guys.
Yeah, and as we said, these two guys were the dark horses
Plenty of time
coming out into this match, and they you know, things went their way with the cards. Tyler Kenney made a nice call down against Katchalov. Felipe on the good end of two different coolers, and then not so great fold, but
it's too strong to fold to a 2.5x. I haven't seen too much about his, you know, bet sizing in different spots, but you know, I'll call and see what happens. It's a pretty decent flop for me.
We'll endeavour to get Mike's camera
I wasn't
back.
really expecting such small raises, but again, you know, I don't know enough about his games really.
Yeah, I think that's a product of the fact these guys both had 10s.
I would guess that King 6 off has less equity against the smaller raise size than it should have. Like, I would guess that King 6 off is the type of hand that loses more equity.
So you can see Mike flopping second pair and a backdoor flush draw. If we know anything, if we've learned anything from watching the Global Poker League, if you're new to poker, people do not fold these kind of hands. And a big turn card for Mike McDonald. And Mike checking, hoping to show down, hoping it goes check check, and he beats pocket fives. Or
if I have a bluff check raise range, like this is it. Trying to think of how many flush draws I'll have.
So, such a shame we didn't see a small bet from Felipe. Would have loved to have seen Mike putting the check raise bluff there, possibly, that he was considering with that flush draw.
Shortest by a
and
good
there's
bit.
Felipe.
What's up, Felipe?
What a boss, looking pimp.
Great to see another of the Sao Paulo Mets on the webcam.
He looks like an NBA player or MLB player or something, like the ones that decide to come to the World Series, you know, wearing those kind of headphones, always looking sharp.
And not slowing down, showing that he's going to have a wide opening range with this stack size.
And clearly probably just saw that folding King Jack was a big mistake and is tilted.
Definitely a decent flop.
Oh, he sounds pretty English, like American.
We'll try and get him on comms. Interesting whether Mike thinks he can start to go for value here.
I think I'll check this and bet the majority of rivers. Sizing definitely looks a lot like showdown value. I'm trying to think.
Mike McDonald.
It's weird to bet a 7.
Such a strong sense of where he is in the hand, and really looking to exploit people's bet sizing tendencies if they aren't balanced.
They're almost never.
Which I think it's going to call, so let's go for half this spot.
Wow, Felipe value betting the West Ham.
I'm very high up in my range, but I don't know. I don't
Maybe something like
I don't see him ever valuing
Wing 3.
7. I don't know if he's raising offsuit small 8s pre-flop.
Definitely hard to
Seems
fold.
like not a great value bet with them.
Yeah, I think this is too thin here from Felipe. Because he should know that Mike wouldn't.
The small turn, like the
Bluff
small
bluffer.
turn bet to half pot river bet just doesn't really, it really just feels like he's just going to have, 9s here or ace 8 or something like that.
Yeah, I really wouldn't blame Mike for folding here because it doesn't really.
I hate playing on
isn't-
stream.
yeah.
I feel like I'm much more of a field player than people think.
This time,
I think I'm probably supposed to call this hand,
definitely
but,
a
no.
player that can
Wow,
get creative.
Felipe,
Felipe's
Felipe's going for such thin
Trying to
value. He's
bluff.
blown Mike off the best hand. I mean,
Yeah.
what the hell's up with this game? I mean, we're really seeing some amazing
Or that'll
poker.
be a very tough situation.
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
It is kind of funny too. I mean, we've talked about how easy it is to feel like an expert watching them, and like the way that he's kind of proud of that thin value bet that like Mike almost called with a 3, when really it's just like he's
I'm short enough that getting all in as like a moderate favorite is likely fine. 3-handed, I don't think anyone really wants to get all in these things.
I think
Shoving some stuff like ace 10 off will definitely
Yep.
protect some of the weaker hands I want to shove there.
Oh, big cooler here for Mike McDonald. Whatever direction he takes his hand. Tyler Kenney, everything going right for him in this
Fine.
heat.
This is maybe the best pair I shove here. Maybe I shove 6s. But yeah, I'll shove this one.
Mike McDonald all in with pocket 5s.
it's definitely interesting. Probably like a playable stack at this point, but in this format, Mike's making some adjustments, which it shows he's a pretty good player. But it's found jacks on the big line.
All ins here quite a bit.
Oh, this is actually
We're going to be losing Mike
good and
McDonald.
bad.
Are we though,
Oh,
Sam?
coming flush draw.
Are we losing Mike McDonald, or are we gaining a new chip leader?
All right, good game. Good luck,
GG,
Felipe
Mike
and Tyler.
McDonald. Great contribution from Mike. Really enjoyed having him on the webcam there.
First win for São
It's gonna
Paulo.
be sad to see him fade
Let's
away.
do this.
Sad
Come
that,
on.
sad that we don't get
Vamos
to
lá,
see
turma.
his response to the 10-8. And we now have two.
The dark horse is
Certainly
the
interesting,
storyline I created.
Because
Remember?
I have this advantage since the beginning, and now by this best hands, Tyler has a couple more chips than me. That's why I said it's definitely good and bad, because it's good to have the chip lead and carry things going on, but like of course good to summarize. There are more points and get a very tough opponent out, which is McDonald's, of course. It's really interesting because some of these players, there's some most of them the players you look up to, right? And you follow all this hand histories and videos and
Oh, look at little Bryn Kenney there,
very
Tyler.
interesting story about Duhamel, where
Yeah.
he won his last best bracelet in the high roller at the WSOP. I was there watching the whole final table, and I barely even know anyone at the final table. I was just like checking out his play and all the stuff. Pretty nice guy. Very happy to play against him here.
Felipe Ramos, all round good guy. He's
Story
loving
time
everyone.
with Felipe Mojave.
He's loving it.
Tyler Kenney
Flop bottom pair, draw it board.
looking like a shoe-in to be
Yes,
cast as
good.
Bryn Kenney in the Bryn Kenney
As you
movie.
guys think at home.
Speakers
Here
are
we go.
lowered. All right, we should be set up now.
We've got Tyler Kenney.
Gonna bet this flop. A few. Let me just make sure everything's good, and I can go back to focusing.
Good enough to carry this hand on to the turn.
Good.
Nice call from Felipe here.
Safe card.
Called.
4 spades. Let's see what Tyler is about to do over here. Most
Check
of the time he's gonna bet his turn, as he did previously. And at that point, I decided to fold my
Let's
topper. Considering I played it against Tyler a couple times, considering a really good player. And
Okay. We wanted to check here.
try to put his hand
Okay.
down to showdown.
Go to showdown.
And oh,
That's what
very
we
rare.
want. That 9.
Okay, nice read. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Vamu.
Amu.
Alrighty. Let's get a win for the New York Rounders.
And as I was saying, I decided to fold that hand, considering the situation and the stack sizes and all. At that point, it
I
was
haven't
like
played much
second
heads up
chips.
in my time of playing poker. I have more third place finishes than I do second or first place finishes. So
That's correct. If you
this is
look
going to
at
be a bit new to us, but we'll improvise, and happy to be on the camera because I didn't expect to be on the camera unless if I made it this deep with so many known players that I'm playing against.
Tyler Kenney, of course, referring to the fact that he has
Very well played by him.
36 results, I believe, and no
This guy's our
victories.
hand. We have bottom pair. We're
But 10,
probably
10
gonna
top 10,
check back
9 top 10
again.
finishes and 36 results. Obviously, someone that's
Let's
good
see
at
what
getting
we get
going
on the
good
river.
deep in tournaments. But as he's reflecting, not a lot of heads-up experience.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's too high,
It's decent. I can
No
bet here.
value
I
here.
think for value. I think the smaller I bet, the more it looks like it's a value bet. So I'm gonna elect to go
Probably
a little bit stronger here, somewhere around.
Obviously, we can see this bet probably not going to get called, but like great to see Tyler taking such consideration, even about these very
700.
small decisions. Heads up. Obviously, he knows this is the difference between winning and losing in these kind of contests.
Maybe he'll call me with ace high. Nope.
Yeah, targeting the ace high portion of Felipe's range. You know, very thin value bet on the river. But obviously, we could see Ramos didn't have anything.
Nice
Nice,
hand.
nice to see a pretty deep stacked heads-up
Yeah,
situation.
been a while since
Been
we've
a
seen
while
one.
since that, yeah. Again, there's 150,000 chips in play.
I think this is going to favour Tyler. It being so deep.
King, deuce, queen, 1 heart. Check. Eek. I fold.
So, you'll see back get the job done.
And of course, Sao Paulo Metropolitans actually don't have a win yet in the GPL. This would be an opportunity for their first ever win. We saw Thiago get swept, and Darren Elias lost 2 games to 1 to Busquets. No wins in matches for these guys yet. And big flop here for reasonable flop for both players. Tyler, up and
I'm
down
gonna elect
straight.
to
Draw.
check here. There's a lot of good turn cards for me. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I get a 9. I get a 4. Even a 10 is good a lot of the time. Sometimes 7 is good a lot of the time. I just don't want to get check raised. So we're going to check.
This is interesting. Because definitely one of the boards, I would love to see a bet and check raise. And, just try to win this hand on the turn. Considering he's playing pretty tight. But as I said, really tough opponent. Yeah, I think he's gonna fall like all this.
It's close to half pot sized bet. It's pretty strong. But we still have a lot of equity, and we're in there.
No, we needed like
didn't get there.
Something like
Hey.
a jack's probably good. Most of the time out of his range, and considering he checked it back and called turns pretty weak line. Try and put up a little bluff in here.
We're just gonna give up here, I think. Yeah, he bets relatively big. I'm just folding.
Yes, that's it. Let's go.
Stack size is pretty even now. Slight advantage
4-3
to
off.
Tyler. But if Felipe gets a raise through here, it will be almost exactly a level. If you guys are just joining us,
Let's go.
This is the first match of the Americas Conference. You're watching Felipe Ramos of the Sao Paulo Metropolitans, a Sao Paulo resident, versus Tyler Kenney of the New York Rounders.
And guys, if you want to follow the conversation, please tweet at GPL and check out our website at
mais focado impossível.
www.globalpokerleague.com.
Separei o dia para jogar isso aqui. Contrário de outras pessoas como o Jungle Man, por exemplo.
6 Jack Queen.
There's one thing I was talking here in Portuguese is that I had my whole day waiting for this GPL match, trying to do the best and represent São Paulo and represent my friends, amazing players.
Stab at it.
And we're taking this very seriously. Like, I want to win this so bad as the last tournament in the world.
750.
So, like, for me, sometimes said I have nothing against the guy pretty much. I admire. I mean, I lost Sunday 500 last week. Heads up against Mr. Dan Cates. So, of course, I'm a big fan of his play. But like,
should have a lot of queens. I think he's
even though I was watching all the games and
defending
stuff,
very wide there.
To study,
that should hit me more than it should even hit him.
Even though this is, as he says,
I think. It's a nice hand.
Like, then
Okay.
this is more juicy than if it was for money. This is for pride, to show who thinks is the best. And so I want to win this so bad. So let's try and put a win for São Paulo.
Felipe being very frank and open-hearted there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Where's my
Really nice
deuce
sentiment
3-7?
by the São Paulo resident.
And obviously Tyler's got to feel the same, you know, representing his brother's franchise.
Yeah.
You know, his brother's the manager.
8.
A lot on the line for these guys.
Nope.
And I mean, he's the Michael Corleone to Bryn's veto, so he's got to represent, right?
Checks again, which isn't bad. I could be good with 8s. I'm never betting here. After I check back the flop, we're gonna see a river, and it's a 10. So we want him to have ace whatever here. He could have a 7 as well. He might have a 9 or a 10 or something, but do I want to bet it? Pretend like I Jack here? Just bet big for the jack? Maybe. And he's checking. He didn't take one stab at this pot. I think I'm going to bet big here and rep the jack. Check back the flop. Could have ace jack. Could have queen jack even. Yeah, I'm going to bet big here.
This is interesting because it's the same as we saw in the previous hand when Felipe bluffed the best hand as well. And they're working so hard to represent hands, but they've
50.
actually always got the best hand.
Well, Felipe was actually value betting though, right? Was that the
No, the king 9 high, you know,
right,
when he had
yes,
10-7.
yes,
Yeah.
correct. Sorry.
But yeah, interesting stuff. And
Ace queen. It's a great hand. He raises. That's a nice development. I haven't 3-bet yet, but it doesn't mean that I can't get out of hand and look to steal. I do have chip lead, and I'm not just calling here. I want to get stacks in pre-flop if I can. So I'm going to make it 96.
That's 99.9% accurate.
what did he say was?
He had said it's 99.9% accurate that Tyler
This
Kenney
time
only
it's
takes
taking
little time.
longer than usual.
He would 3-bet.
In there.
So huge sample size, obviously, that Felipe has gathered on Tyler.
Consider replaying.
Make it look like
I don't know if it's waiting for the blinds to go up or something like this, and have a little edge by having a little
I'll give it another
larger stack.
No, that's too long.
But
Until 7
Tyler
minutes
maybe
and 20
overthinking it a bit much here.
yeah,
I'm gonna put the 13, 4, or 5 in there.
just as that. Easy game. Nice hand.
Woo! Give me all the hands. What do I want to do here? You could just jam it on me if I raise. I'm gonna call.
Interesting. Let's
Make
mix
it
up
look
his
like
game
my
as
hand's weaker than
I
his.
figured out he was gonna do, which is pretty bad for me.
Beautiful looking.
Really good, Mr. Tyler. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting from this New York team. Pretty strong. Oh wow!
I could just.
I heard that
I feel like
some comments over the web, like by
just win the hand.
we're talking about like our São Paulo team, and then how last week was
7-3 off.
bad for us. Well, like
Felipe
yeah,
folds.
guys have no idea. This guy that played heads up and unfortunately lost for us, Thiago, sick player, really good player.
9-5.
Like very unfortunate. I watched the whole game. For sure,
If I was
next
a
time he
heads-up
can scoop a
specialist, I
win
would,
and like bang,
raise
bang,
here,
bang,
but I'm not,
win
so
3 in a row.
I'll avoid the
That's for sure.
junky 9-5 off hands.
And strategy-wise, of course, there's a lot to come. It's really early in the season, so we actually want to play our best, and result will come.
Okay. I'm gonna raise here. Got an ace blocker, so takes away a lot of his jam potential. He has less aces in this spot. King deuce 9.
But like, he's some good decisions.
I'm gonna continue here.
What's near that
Rep
king
the
3
king.
hands?
King deuce 9's a bit wide. He could have plenty of different things that fit with
Got beat on
him.
the river.
Movement.
Like this board is pretty much very,
I'm
very
gonna
good
bet
board. Which
4,400
if I don't play a king here, I can play pretty much
and see what happens.
only the 9s, so the connectors or connectors by any point. Nice hand. Let's go.
Blinds are up now, guys. So
There you go.
153.
The jack 2 off raise. It looks beautiful on his queen suited. It's a fold from Mr. Tyler as well.
King 4. I think I can start limping now. I don't want to get jammed on when I'm in raise. It's not really a strong holding. Ace 9-5.
It's high board.
It's a flop that I'm gonna take a shot at for sure.
Two spades. Unless it's not slow playing hand, it's a pretty good board for me. I think that.
Tyler Kenney with a commanding position now, 2-1 in chips, 30 big blinds. Felipe with under 20 big blinds.
I'll take it.
So Felipe in a little bit of trouble. Still 5 minutes left on the level.
I'm gonna elect to min raise here.
It seems like most of the pots where no one flops anything, Tyler's winning, and that's going to be key unless there's a hand over hand situation.
I don't like. Ooh, but that's the. Oh, okay, that's decent for sure. He doesn't hit many aces. He's gonna jam those aces pre-flop. So, actually, we are going to bet relatively small and make it look cheesy. We're gonna go for a 3,500 bet.
So we can see Felipe does catch a piece of this board,
Calls.
and it will be interesting to see whether Tyler barrels
Still
because
the same gut shot.
Felipe turning 2-pair.
Some weakness, so he can puts up a bet here. It's
I don't blame.
ace has an ace. This is pretty good for us.
I don't blame Tyler if he fouls again here. Obviously, we can see that that would be a terrible idea, but he does have way more stronger hands than Felipe does.
And we'll reevaluate on the river based on what he does here. But let's make it 8,500.
Once again, he's taking his time. It's a little longer. So pots here is
Where
around
he's at.
30,000. Have 41.
Where you at,
So
Felipe?
I don't think ever. Of course, not gonna fall an ace or something like this.
Fold it.
So let's try and maximize these winnings, and Make's gonna put me on a bluff, folding a lot of hands, hoping he has an ace over here.
Maybe. Fold maybe, please.
And we can see that obviously Tyler has nothing to call with.
And that would be the perfect
think-
play as an ace.
I think that is a little bit. I mean, Felipe's going to have so many weak bluff catches he
needed
wants to
that
show
pot.
down that he needs to like include some strong
Yeah.
hands in his check calling range.
Absolutely.
A little bit of a mistake, I think, from Felipe there,
Some pressure.
without being too harsh on the Sao Paulo Met.
No fold.
And obviously, Tyler's going to have so many just, hands with 4 outs.
Obrigado,
Yeah.
todo mundo na torcida aí. Agora é hora de torcer mesmo, que a gente precisa ganhar a nossa primeira aqui. Vamos. So only wins game so bad. Let's do our first win, São Paulo. Let's go.
Stack where you can
Felipe,
super light.
in case you
I'm
didn't get
gonna
that at home, guys, he
do
does
min
want to win
raise
this
here.
match.
This is what I tell my students and friends while I'm streaming or something like this. Don't play hands that are names of bands. For example, Jack 5, Jackson's 5, pretty bad hand. So
A little bit of strap from the Sao Paulo resident. Loving it. Don't play hands named after bands. What other hands are there?
Um,
I don't know. We'll have to ask Felipe in the post-match interview if he wins. Eric Denis will pick that up. Don't play hands if they're named after bands. And 2 relatively strong holdings heads up. Be interested to see whether Tyler continues with his limping strategy. Yes, he does.
It's a limp here with a strong hand like King 10 off. We dominate so many of his hands. We'll check. Nope.
turn card most of the time. Try to get some value of this.
I mean, it's a big sizing.
Take it.
Seems like maybe
I don't know if I played that okay.
his sizings are
What can you
structured
do?
around the strength of his hand rather than the board
That's a nice
texture and what
hand.
have you.
If he min raises, we're just jamming it in here. He's got like 20 blinds. We're heads up with ace-9. Yeah, I think I'm jamming it in here. I don't want to just call. Show me what you got.
Oh, man.
He didn't snap call, which is good. Snap calls with
It was like
ace
still,
jack.
blinds are gonna
Maybe
go
he
up.
thinks
It's
for a
just solid
second with like
for
ace
20
10
bigs.
if he has
So
it, but we should
nice
be
hand,
fine.
sir. Nice hand. I'm
Maybe
folding.
it's like ace
It's like
spade or ace
pretty much
7
show
was
me
gonna
any
call.
pair or any better ace, king, queen. That's the hands we're flipping even.
8-8.
So
Now we're gonna min raise.
let's go.
See if he spins a little bit from that last hand. Jam the ace-5, baby. Calls. Okay.
Not a great flop for Tyler here. No
Top
diamond to
pair.
his name. Top pair for Felipe.
Three done on board.
Yeah, Tyler hating life.
I'm gonna bet something.
It's not crazy about this board, but of course top pair's pretty strong hand over there.
Hard to make top pair.
Indeed. And Tyler betting, obviously, we can see that he's in real trouble on this board, but obviously a lot of the time he can take it down. He can
I
protect
shouldn't
against
get
one
check raised
diamond.
too often.
He can get called by a 4-5.
Barf. He could have like ace-4, 4-5.
So I can turn my hand into a bluff here.
Do I want to bet this turn? Do I want to bluff this turn?
Of course, he has a lot of diamonds in his range,
I could
plus the ace of diamonds for sure.
rep like ace high flush or queen high flush. He shouldn't have king queen. I think I'm gonna take another. What the hell does he have here? What's he check calling with? I'm checking here. A 9 on the river. So what you gonna do, Felipe? He's gonna check.
Take this pot.
I'm gonna check as well. We're gonna see what's
Yes,
happening.
let's try this
Okay.
pot. Let's get this pot. Send it home.
Bet the turn, jam the river.
Bring it home to São Paulo.
It's 90 off. Let's give a little walk. First of the day.
Queen.
Stack sizes again, very even.
It's so bad, man. So focused on this game. Let's do this for São Paulo. Let's go. Maybe it's now that I'm gonna double up. Maybe it's now.
Keep raising.
It's probably now.
Until
Let's go, São Paulo.
shows some type of aggression, but he hasn't until now. We'll fold.
Game is even, boys.
I'm gonna have
Let's
to
go,
hurry up with my
vamos.
decisions. I have like 2 minutes left in my bank. Blinds are going up. Which next blind is in when?
Down.
58 minutes. Oh my lord. That's wild. We got some time. Let's see a flop.
You're blind defense over there. Another very dry board. Let's just try to win this thing with C-bet.
Bets I fold.
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
I have to brush up on my heads up game. I've been watching, and
And this has the possibility of being
yeah,
the
let's get back up. Should I
confrontation.
limp here? Let's we're gonna raise.
Tyler-
Maybe it's
We ain't
this.
limping.
Tyler
Maybe it's
could
this
limp
our
call.
first win. Come
Wouldn't be a
on.
bad idea.
and
I believe.
Felipe all
All in
in.
the
He goes all
game.
in.
Tyler
All in the middle,
I have to
Mr.
call
Tyler.
here.
Yeah, Tyler knows what he has to do. He just
We're
puts
heads up.
himself up
It's
for it.
for like 13 or so blinds. I don't think I'm ever
Yes,
folding.
it's called.
What do you got,
Oh,
Felipe?
it's like
get an
a
ace.
quick flip. Ow.
Actually, Jackson
All right.
flop.
Wow,
Little
so
hole
many
first,
outs.
Little hole one
Club
time.
me.
Ah, man.
Clubbed me.
Such a shame.
Bam!
It's okay. Still in the
Got
game.
it.
So tough for
Let's make this
Felipe.
bet.
And now
Let's
Tyler,
bet.
the New York Rounders, a firm favourite to follow in the steps of teammate Jason
Right.
Wheeler,
Nice answer.
has a
Now let's
huge
close
chip
it out.
advantage. Felipe, wow, and here we go. This would be a
That's the
call of
double up
Yeah,
hand,
kinda
and
hand.
I'm coming
Just
for
all
this
in,
win.
and I
Let's
call.
go.
I call.
Oh, it's a big flip.
All right,
again.
a flip for it all. Ace jack.
It's a pretty good board.
Great flop.
Ace or a jack. Ace or jack. Ace or jack.
Pretty good turn.
Jack. Ace or jack.
Got a couple outs.
Ace or jack.
Yes,
Ace
let's
or
dodge a couple outs.
jack.
No
Oh.
problem. Let's go, São Paulo.
Vamos! Both guys showing
Let's do
such
this.
passion for the game, such desire to win it. You can see how much they've got invested in their respective franchises.
Call here. Let's see what he does. He checks. Ooh-wee. You are a beautiful hand. Do I check you? No way. We're betting you all day.
Tyler recognizing what a favorable flop this is for his hand and his
Gotta bet
range.
you all day. He's never checking an
Compared to
ace.
Felipe's range too.
It's
Obviously,
like, what
Felipe
can you
with
do?
no aces in his range
I
really.
ain't giving you a free
Let's
card.
do this again. Let's do this again. I believe.
Ace deuce. That's not bad.
Let's mix up
Ooh, he
this
calls.
a little bit.
Man, we're all in.
Tyler's time bank actually getting pretty low. Down to a minute. He's going to have to speed
Good
up his
enough. Good
decision.
enough, sir.
So Tyler Kenney with a 2-1 chip advantage over Felipe Ramos. Tyler Kenney representing the Rounders. 2 further points up for grabs here. They've both secured 5 points.
No fault.
And
Straight walk.
a lot
Let's
on
go.
the line. Sao Paulo Metropolitan still without a win
We can do this.
in the GPL.
I believe. Let's go.
And both these players making their debut in the league. So it'd be an amazing
I
story
got
if they could take
hurry
it.
for sure.
Off.
I'm gonna limp here because he's gonna go all in. I'm gonna call because that's what I'm gonna do. Just do it.
Seems are pretty polarized most of the time.
And I'm gonna
Let's
call
show
you.
you we can.
And then
Play a little
I have
aggression
ace
too.
9 off. It's a good hand. So like
Oh,
I
it's
most likely
polarized,
have
but
you beat.
still live.
It's just how it
Let's
works.
go. Come
King
on.
or a 5
I
needed.
just gotta have
Hit a pair.
for a deuce.
Small pair. Ah,
Ace.
that's not the pair I wanted. Nice answer. Let's go for the second round. Coming for this win. Coming. Well played.
Got it. That's what we call a wild card win. Boom.
Tyler Kenney taking that 6-max match against an unbelievable lineup, likes of Eugene, Katchalov, Felipe Mojave. We looked at guys like Timex, Duhamel. So really great for him to take, the 7 points out of that division. 5 points for the Mets really gives them some ground to catch up on when it comes to the Americas division. So a lot of good things happen for those two teams.
Yeah, of course. Tyler Kenney, what a great moment for him. You could see how much he was giving to every decision, how excited he was to get the win there for his franchise in the end, following in the footsteps of Jason Wheeler in the first week. It was a somewhat controversial pick. The wild card, you could pick anyone you want in the poker universe, and he opted for his brother. I made a couple of jokes about it, but Tyler Kenney showing he's a quality poker player, and Bryn's decision to pick him for the team already beginning to be rewarded.
Absolutely. I think we're going to be heading to the lounge in a second. And we're going
Let's also talk about Felipe for a moment, though. Felipe Ramos, there we saw how we think of Brazilian poker.
Yeah.
Passion, exuberance,
Vamu,
excitement.
ja.
Exactly. Him, these guys aren't afraid to cheer in cards, talk to their fans, speak with great feeling and emotion about
Great
their fellow
details, yeah.
teammates. So that was really, really nice to see. And, we already knew coming into this match, poker fans know so much about Mike McDonald and Jonathan Duhamel. I think here we've learned about 2 new players in the GPL. And, going forward, it's going to be exciting to see those guys in action. And certainly Felipe, not afraid to utilize the webcam, not someone who's going to shy away from that.
Okay, Laura, it's waiting for us in the lounge with the stats guru himself, Eric Denny. Take it away, guys.
Well, thank you so much. New York Rounders picking up 7 points there, and we got to see the debut of some much-awaited players. Tyler Kenney there taking 7 points. What did you think to him?
Great performance. It was a fabulous performance. I don't think anyone expected it, and good for him. Good on him, and good on Bryn Kenyon for selecting his brother and putting him in this type of matchup. This is not an easy matchup, Laura, with the Timexes and the Katchalovs.
No.
A lot of experience here in the Duhamels. So a lot of experience here, and wow, a great performance by Tyler Kenney, and a fun heads-up match.
Yeah,
Almost
was
double.
Kept
Double. It was
toing and
about
throwing a lot, didn't it?
40 hands for the first 4 eliminations, and about 40 hands for the heads up, and both were great. Felipe did wonders for Sao Paulo. You can tell that he's taking it to heart as well.
Yeah.
So it's a good matchup.
The heart.
That's right. I think it'll be fun. We'll try to get the managers to get them to play a heads-up match at one point, because I think that could be fun.
I like Tyler's N words there. Wild card win, boom.
Yeah, he seems to have the Bryn Kenney style and swagger, you know. So I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Although I don't think that works for brothers, but you can tell that there's a lot of swag in those New York brothers.
Yeah, indeed, and that means New York Rounders are ahead for the time being.
Yeah, they would be ahead officially, 32 points, tied with Montreal, but have 4 wins now. 4 wins. That's quite impressive.
So
after only 2 weeks and 1 match. So.
Another win for the bad boys. There was quite a lot of pressure on Mike McDonald there, because obviously Montreal Nationals came in as the front runners, leading the whole Americas conference. And it was really interesting to watch Mike, actually, and then have an insight to his crazy technical mind.
Yeah, he's great. I think a win for Montreal would have really put pressure on the other teams. I mean, they would be, both of those teams are now first overall. So Montreal, with a win, could have really distanced themselves from every other team in this league. So Timex, it didn't work out last time, remember? Yeah. What happened that second match? He destroyed the competition.
So we could see that happen again.
We'll see what happens.
Let's take a look at the standings now for the Americas Conference, match 23. So this is where the points went. Tyler Kenney there on top, 7 points for Bryn Kenney's wildcard choice and brother. Felipe Mojave with 5 points there. And his commentary was interesting.
It was fun. His little dog made an appearance too, a barking appearance.
Mike McDonald from Montreal Nationals with 3 points. The Moneymakers, Duhamel with 2, Eugene Katchalov with 1, and I'm sure he'll be a little disappointed with that. Anton Wigg failing to get anything going in the early stages as well. He lost a lot of chips early on, didn't he?
Yeah, and unfortunately following in the footsteps of Anthony Gregg in the first week, so Anton Wigg has 0 points, and that's really disappointing for San Fran, who now, by the way, find themselves in the bottom
again,
of the rankings. Yeah.
They were back, they were in the bottom, they're back at the bottom again. Let's take a look now at the conference standings and see where we are. Oh, we're tied. Interesting. We're tied in the Eurasian Conference, and we're tied now in the Americas Conference too.
Right, and that should read Rounders first, Nationals second, because Rounders do have an extra
more wins.
So they would be first, Rounders second. The Sunset, I keep on saying the Sunset are fine, but they need to
There's a
gain
big jump
some more
there, though.
points.
There's 6 points separating second and third place.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they separate themselves further. Las Vegas keep on collecting points, and that's important here, Lord. They keep on grabbing points, right? And Matt McDonald said it perfectly that in this league, it's not always about winning the matches. It's actually where you finish, and Las Vegas are proving that they're still steady, still without a victory. So maybe a Jake Cody victory will really help them out in this next match. And then Sao Paulo and San Francisco just pulling at the rear, 18 and 50 points respectively.
Anton Wigg will really want to work hard and try and earn some points for that team now.
Yeah, he lost 2/3 of his chips in the first hand, so it was
and
a
he
pretty
did
rough
sort
match.
of sit back after that and wait, and he was gathering momentum a little bit, and then
It's away. I don't think that's his style to sit back. I think it's a classic Swede situation, so it'd be fun to see him perform that way. But I really do think Wigg is the type of player to really regroup and do some damage in his second match.
Well, we have a few slight changes in this second match, don't we? We have Maria Ho. This is a debut from the team manager for LA Sunset. Maria Ho will be playing now instead of Eugene Katchalov. I'm sure Eugene Katchalov will be a little bit annoyed. He'll probably want to play this second game, won't he? But
he gets to
unfortunately
play,
not.
I believe he gets to play tomorrow or on Thursday for the heads-up matches. So we'll see Eugene quickly enough. It'll be fun to see Maria Ho. I think a lot of fans have been wanting to see Maria. She's finally in the lineup, so it'll be fun to see her. And Jake Cody. Cody takes over for Duhamel for Las Vegas. So it'll be fun to see him as well. And I think we're going to try to get both of them on camera.
Yeah, interestingly, we had it the other way around last week. So Jake Cody started the first 6 matches, and then Jonathan Duhamel took over the second. So we're having a little switch up. I like that.
It's a little Moneymaker switch up. Yeah, that's always fun.
And next week, in fact, the man himself, Chris Moneymaker, will be playing in the second 6 max match. So exciting stuff.
Fun to see.
All of the managers now slowly, kind of steadily showing their game.
And with Liv Borre's win, I think they'll all have pressure on them to win. Maria's the next one on deck, so we'll see if Maria can work her magic in this next match.
Any expectations for this game?
Oh, that's a good question. How about Jake Cody Love? I think Jake Cody had a strong performance last week. Well, not Jake Cody Love, but I think everyone's hearts are with him.
He went out fourth or
yeah, fourth,
something
fourth,
like
I believe,
that
yeah.
last week. And what do we expect from Maria Ho? I mean, she's a lady that has a wealth of experience behind her in a lot of different games as well.
Yeah, Maria, for such a young woman, has been around for a long time. Plays a ton of mixed games, so she has experience in any type of situation. So, wouldn't be surprised if Maria takes this down. I think these types of formats are very good for Maria. She loves to put pressure on her opponent, so wouldn't be surprised if Maria shines in our league. And Maria does have the spotlight on her. She made the big move. She went to grab the Hollywood superstar, the Hollywood legend, and Aaron Paul. So I'm thinking that she'll want to make sure that she plays well as well.
Everyone is just desperate to see Aaron Paul as well. Any idea when we might see him?
He will play during season 1 of the Global Poker League.
Oh, you're such a tease,
That's
Eric.
right. Yeah.
Now, Tyler Kenney won the very first match there for the Six Max. Do you think that he can live up to expectations in this?
I think it'll have a lot of pressure on him, so it'll be very difficult for him to get that done. I think a lot of people are going to be watching those matches, so it's going to be tough. I think as long as he survives, I think first elimination, if he can survive that, things change after that.
I mean, he does have some, like background behind him. He's won like various tournaments and
he's played a lot of cash games in LA. He played the World Series main event last year, so no, he's still an accomplished player for the amount of times he's played.
I was quite pleasantly surprised by him as well. Like I liked his persona. I liked how he came across on camera. I'm looking forward to see more.
Should be a big show.
Right, let's head to the action. We're ready for our second Six Max America's Conference game. Let's head over to Griffin and Sam at the desk.
Thank you, Eric, Laura. I'm here with Sam Grafton. I'm Griffin Benger. We're nearing the end of the day here on the first day of matches in week 3 of the Global Poker League. And again, the Americas division is playing right now. And a couple of substitutions, some interesting choices. Most of the substitutions we've seen so far have been from Selena Lin of the Hong Kong Stars. But we're here in the Americas division. And the first one is going to be Maria Ho substituting it in for Eugene Katchalov. There she is, the beautiful Maria Ho, general manager of the LA Sunset. And Jake Cody, your boy, representing the Las Vegas Moneymakers.
Yeah, no letting up here at the Global Poker League. Another 2 superstar names. Maria Ho, obviously such a caliber of player, picked herself as the second wild card alongside Aaron Paul. And, she has tournament experience, cash game experience. And, of course, I think, like yourself, a Shark Cage final tableist. But, in all seriousness, she will have done a lot of work on her sort of, that plays as a winner takes all. So it's slightly different. But thinking about ICM, thinking about short-handed strategies, and because of the work she's done there, I think she's going to be pretty formidable in this particular format. We shall see, but it's exciting to have another manager put to the test. And as I said, I think a Liv Boeree-esque performance would be no surprise to me.
Yeah, and can we talk about how impressive the women have been so far in the Global Poker League? I mean, a lot of people have the poker can have that reputation of being the man's sport or what have you, man's game. But look, Xuan Liu wins one of her heats. Kitty Kua wins one of hers. Liv Boeree, one of the managers, wins one of her heats. I mean, the women are taking over the Global Poker League, and Maria Ho is obviously going to come out there and make her mark and represent LA. So, but let's talk about Jake Cody. He's a guy you love to talk about, so I'll let you take the lead.
Yeah, Jake Cody, Triple Crown winner, as we always say. One of the most prestigious things you can achieve in the game of tournament poker. Still playing cash games regularly, plays the circuit, is a PokerStars ambassador, someone that's, used to interacting with the public and with fans. So it'd be great. I think he'll be real value if we see him on the webcam. And, Rochdale's number 1, someone I love to see play. I thought he played pretty good in the first game we saw him in, but he'll be itching to get a win on the board for the Las Vegas Moneymakers.
Jake Cody, father of one, an excellent poker player and a Triple Crown winner. So we're going to be getting to the action real soon, guys. But yeah, this is going to be good. Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. And another thing to say is I think Tyler Kenney did even things up there for the Las Vegas Moneymakers at the top of the division.
New York Rounders.
New York Rounders, sorry, alongside the Montreal Nationals. So it's going to be interesting to see, it'd be nice for either one of them. I mean, what a story. If Tyler can come in, put more points on the board and take his team to the top of the division, coming in as a wild card, a little bit of an underdog against these superstar names. So that's going to be something interesting to look at. And also, Mike McDonald talked about his strategy, saying it's not about the wins, it's about, consistent late stage finishes.
The people that always get points.
Yeah, be interesting to see whether he can manage that. And we look at this.
And we got the newbies on the cam.
Beautiful. So that's Maria on the left, I believe. And I think
that's Jake Cody, yeah.
That's Jake Cody on the right. Maria just playing in a laptop in her bedroom. And I guess that's the Cody family home.
Interesting to see Tyler Kenney opt to just fold Queen 10 suited on the button there to the under the gun open. Obviously ranges for sure, like he's behind Felipe's range, but you'd imagine you'd want to flat that in a 6-max format.
I think maybe given the way Felipe played the opening match, you'd want to flat that because he showed that he had some weaker ranges opening under the gun than wider ranges, I should say, opening under the gun than most players, and perhaps
and also wasn't sticky post flop.
Made some mistakes post flop.
I think that's a small mistake by Tyler there, but again, Felipe did have king queen suited, so maybe Tyler's just in the zone and put him on.
Yeah, of course. And so Jake Cody